CISA is about to change how it tells federal agencies and critical infrastructure operators how to do their jobs. Yes, Acting Director Nick Anderson says a binding operational directive drops today, and the broader project is a full rethink of how the agency ranks cyber risk. So this matters because CISA has been previously leaning very heavily on the known exploited vulnerabilities catalog. And this model is frankly drowning, okay? The KEV catalog has well over 1,000 entries, and federal CISOs are running compliance theater on these sorts of deadlines we realistically know they can't meet. All the while, the attackers are focusing on the handful of bugs that actually make a difference. I should also mention that every agency also gets roughly the same marching orders, regardless of whether these bugs actually affect their mission or not. Now, this new approach is going to be a bit more surgical, so we should see prioritization based on which assets matter the most, which exploits are realistically in play, and where there might be some downstream consequences with other agencies or other sectors. Critical infrastructure, this is really actually cool, folks. Anderson wants critical infrastructure recommendations to be very, very specific. It's not going to be the just vague patch your systems stuff that we previously used to have. Honestly, this is a real departure from this vague guidance. We're going to hopefully see some specific technical requirements. That's why I'm kind of excited about today's directive. I also think that there will be follow-along guidance from each of the 16 critical infrastructure sectors. And what that's going to ultimately lead us to is no longer the days of compliance-driven security teams. I'm hoping we're actually going to see real risk mitigating security teams. On to our next story. Yesterday was Patch Tuesday, and this one was a monster. Microsoft pushed fixes for 204 vulnerabilities this month. 38 of them were rated critical, and 3 were publicly disclosed before the patches dropped, which means the attackers had a head start. So for those of you that don't know, Patch Tuesday is Microsoft's monthly security release every second Tuesday, where they ship fixes for everything from Windows to Office to Azure. June's batch is really the usual suspects, remote code execution bugs, privilege escalation flaws, and a stack of issues across Microsoft's cloud services. 6 of those were cloud vulnerabilities that didn't need any user interaction either. So at this point, Microsoft has patched them all server side, but now the rest are upon you and your IT department to deploy. We should also mention again, 3 0 days in a single month, okay? 0 day, if you weren't aware, is a flaw that's known publicly to threat actors before a fix even exists. So there's a significant window between disclosure and patching. It's called open season for threat actors. Yeah. Typically, when you don't have a 0 day, an organization might have some trouble prioritizing which of the 200 plus vulnerabilities they might have to address that month. But not when you have a 0 day. When you have a 0 day on your hands, that pretty much gets to cut to the front of the line. I should also mention, on top of the Microsoft native bugs, Edge picked up 360 Chromium vulnerabilities this cycle. Yes, you heard me right. Chromium had a really busy month too as well. And just so you know, every browser built on top of Chromium inherits those same problems. So if you're running Edge or Chrome or Brave or Opera in your environment, yeah, don't laugh. You're patching browsers this week too. Moving on, those 38 remote code execution flaws, you also better expect detailed write-ups and proofs of concept coming to surface. Previously, I was going to say in the days and weeks to come, because historically, exploitation of these sorts of high-value patches comes in about that amount of time. But here's my bigger concern here, okay? Now that we have Mythos-level adversarial AI on our hands, there's absolutely no freaking way I believe that these sorts of vulnerabilities aren't being exploited in weeks to months. No, it's happening hours to days, if not sooner, folks. So seriously, patch your systems ASAP. Moving on to our last story. This last Sunday, the Iranian-linked Handala group claimed to have hit Israeli military radar systems with what they called massive cyber attacks. Now, the evidence that they posted, however, tells a bit of a different story. The Handala group is actually a hack and leak crew that emerged in late 2023, named after a Palestinian cartoon character, and they're often aligned with Iranian interests. Their playbook is nauseatingly consistent. Their job is to try to cause as much drama on Telegram as possible with claims of hacks on Israeli targets, sometimes real, sometimes recycled, sometimes completely fabricated. In this circumstance, they're stirring the pot in the Middle East conflict. This week's claim was radar infrastructure, and their supposed proof screenshots of an admin panel for a mobile device management system. No, I'm sorry, that's not radar. That's not military air defense. That's a device panel for sysadmins, okay? Calling this a radar hack is a very, very large stretch of the truth, okay? I should also mention the reason I'm bringing this up is because influence operations, they don't need to be technically true to be operationally useful. Okay, a loud enough claim, whether true or not, especially during active regional conflict, will get picked up. It will get screenshotted and retweeted all over the world. And let's all be honest now, okay? If there ever is a correction, how far of it do you think it actually reaches? It doesn't go as far. That's the whole point. I should also mention the evidence pattern here does line up with previous Handala drops. Researchers tracking the group have repeatedly found that claims from the Handala group involve things that they're not even involved with, like third-party data breaches or data that was already public, okay? So be a little on guard when it comes to these sorts of stories, folks. What I do expect next is more of these sorts of claims, okay? Louder claims, especially when you have kinetic escalation happening, okay? Your takeaway here is when you see a breach claim, especially during wartime, I want you to separate two questions, okay? What did they actually access, and what are they telling you they accessed, okay? Those answers are rarely going to be the same. That concludes today's stories, folks. This is Andy Thompson signing off.